So not being supported by family. That's very interesting topic, honestly.
I would say 95% of my clients have, to some extent, the experience of not being supported by their family in whatever they're doing. So we're talking business, we're talking creating, starting something new. So what I realized is not so much what is it that you're doing specifically, that you're starting a business, starting a book, you're starting coaching, whatever that might be. What I understood is the change that your family, your surroundings don't really accept, they don't want to accept, they don't understand, and to the extent that it makes them scared.
You know what it reminded me with? Our own saboteurs.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of work the same. The greater is the change, or the greater is what I'm doing, the more resistant that I get.
Right. How interesting that the moment you step into the unknown, the moment you step into that challenge, into rocking the boat, the saboteur is like, no, no, oh my God, I'm awake. I wasn't even sleeping. No. Where are you going? Where are you going? You can stay right here, nice and safe, under my supervision, right? So it's very interesting what's happening when we decide that we need that change, we need that challenge. But the interesting thing is that if we accept the limitations of our saboteurs and the saboteurs of our loved ones, then that is the very definition of death, in my opinion, because you are literally, you are giving up your purpose on earth, which is growth and giving. That's why we're all here. And you surrender your power and your meaning of growth and giving, and you just accept those limitations. And to me personally, that's the very definition of death. You're alive, but you're dead inside.
But you're dead, yes.
You heard that. People saying, you know what, Leo, I don't feel anything. I feel dead inside.
Yeah, that's like, when you have a very routine life and it's like every day is the same, you don't grow, you feel like you're moving backwards. That's a very dark place for people to be. Well, some people prefer to go to that dark place because that's their safe place. That's a place where they feel comfortable. Because anything beyond that, they feel like, oh no, this will be a lot of effort.
Again, another answer telling you. So see how interesting it's. We're literally jumping from saboteur. So it's going to be another saboteur saying, no. If you attempt to do that, it's going to be so much work. Just sit on the sofa. Netflix is there. It's available. There's lots of popcorn and snacks. Just sit and do nothing. So it's saboteur to saboteur to saboteur to saboteur. And when we are overwhelmed by our own saboteurs that say, don't do this, don't try this, you're going to fail. You better stay here because there's going to take so much work. It's going to take all your time. You won't have time for yourself or anything. So when we're battling our own negative thinking, our own saboteurs, you know what's happening? Then we feel, because we have so much uncertainty within, then we become more needy. And we are seeking that external support and approval from our, surroundings. But what's happening is that we are in the process of battling our own saboteurs. What's happening to your loved ones? The exact same thing.
Exactly.
Because their saboteurs are triggered. They see you changing. What the saboteurs are saying, oh my God, Leo, Masood, they're changing. What's going to happen to me? What if they change so much that they're not going to like me? What if they change so much that we grow apart? What if that we change so much that I am going to feel that I'm not good enough compared to his or her growth? So what's happening is we are struggling because we're growing with so many challenges. And we're like, please, I need your support and attention because I'm dealing with so much. But what's happening in their head is happening the same thing, right? So when we become needy, when we say, can you please support me? And we don't get it, right? is very, very painful. But if we step in their shoes for a second, we'll see the exact same scenario, surprisingly. What do you think?
Interesting. You know, there's something you mentioned really attracted me. There's so many people, they don't even seek the support. They expect to be supported, and they don't get that expectation, so they feel down.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you're saying.
You know, what you mentioned is amazing, but I think even before that, the step that comes before that is that we actually go and seek support. If you have a lot of saboteurs, a lot of fear inside you, and you need support, you have to actually go and seek the support. And be specific where exactly you need the support. All right. I had that battle personally, and I had a lot of clients who faced that battle. And then I asked them a simple question: did you even ask for help? Did you ask for support? They said, no, they're not going to help me. Like,
the immediate the assumption, right?
Yes, exactly. And reminded me with the quote I read it in The Secret Book. The first sentence, they start, ask and you shall be given. So even if you need something from the universe, you got to ask for you to receive.
Wow.
That's the first law, right? If I'm sitting idle and I'm praying, oh God, please give me money. Money is not growing on the tree. I have to ask with little effort, and then it will come. This is what I believe in, at least.
I absolutely, that's such a massive wisdom drop right there, is that we're getting so caught up in our own expectations, and that is gold. What you just dropped was absolute massive wisdom, because we get caught up in the picture of how things should be and how they should support us. Exactly. And another thing is we get hooked up like a fish, you know, and we'll go fish, and then the fish gets hooked with the hook here by our ego, because what's stopping us from asking for help or being specific about what we need is our ego. We're hooked. It's like, no. How about me? Like, who do I like? Not me asking for help. No way, right? No way. But then, right? So we'd rather be hooked up by our ego and die in that ego than reaching out and, as you say, being specific in asking for what we need, right? And another thing in that expectation of things, how they should be, you know, often people say, well, but they should help me, they should support me. And, you know, my reaction is always, no, they shouldn't. Why should they, right? Why should they?
Exactly. I love that. Why should they? They have their own, like what you said, and you put it amazingly. They have their own shit to deal with. And I'm putting an extra burden on them. And,
so I expect them to read my mind for them to understand and to deliver that support in the exact shape and form and color and smell and taste and plate that I imagine that help and support should be delivered.
Oh, I love that metaphor. The exact plate that I want. Ooh.
A little like that, a little coaster, a little thingy, and that's how my support should be delivered. No, right? No, it's very, very interesting. No, because when we understand and we try to pause for a second and say, hey, if I am to step into their shoes, what would they see and how they might feel like it? And I agree that's an assumption as well. But what we then switch to a positive, assuming a positive intent, right? So how can we overcome this? Because, you know, I am still struggling here. Okay, I understand that they should not help me, but how can I break this ice? How can I go there and start asking for help? How can I, you know, start asking for what I need? This is all weird. So the rule number one, So it's like a blanket decision. And I personally use it in my life at all times and really help me. So you take one decision that covers many decisions. So my baseline decision is like, I always assume positive intent. What I mean by that is I always assume if I don't get what I need from them, I assume that they don't give it to me or whatever, not because they want to hurt me, not because they don't like me, not because they criticize me, they judge me. I assume that they just don't know.
Awesome. That's amazing perspective. The way it's a different way of looking at things, right? Instead of looking at it from my own perspective, my own lens, what I want, what I need is, okay, let me change the perspective a little bit. Look at it from a different angle, which changes a lot of the expectations, right? It changes a lot of the expectation. Well, actually, I think it's eliminating a lot of the expectations. So no expectations anymore. And then that's amazing place to start with, right?
Yeah, it changes everything, and it allows the space. So it allows the space where he's wrong, I'm right. You're guilty, I'm innocent. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. You are the perpetrator. Mm-hmm. It space for me and for you in this relationship that we have, for us to change our mind, for us to be more flexible, for me to allow the assumption that maybe if I reach out and express what I need, you will give me what I need, and vice versa, and they don't feel your judgment. Because what's happening on the other side, most of the time, from my personal experience, there's a lot of fear. Because look, if you are the person who's deciding to change, whatever kind of change that might be, financial, mental, mindset, relationship, whatever type of change, you are the blessed one in this relationship. Let me repeat that. If you are blessed with the vision of change, you are the one blessed in this relationship, even though it feels challenging, threatening, scary, terrifying, fearing failure, all of those things, because you've been blessed with the vision of the change. And then people say, well, Leo, but I'm working so much on myself already. Like, why do I have to go, and imagine myself in their space and asking for help and saying, like, why do I have to do all this extra work? Well, my friend, you've been enlightened. You've been given this vision by the universe, God, whatever your belief system is. It's a gift, but it's also a responsibility.
Oh, nice. And because if you don't have that gift, you will not be growing, right? You will be in the same place we have been in the last 5, 10 years, whatever life you have lived. And that decision that you made to change will not only impact you, will impact maybe everyone around you.
Most probably.
And that's a real blessing. That's something that not everyone has, right?
Exactly. Not everyone understands in the beginning, because change for many people is perceived as a threat. Threat to what I know, threat to I've settled on already, threat to the uncomfortable, the exposing my own insecurities. And when you are changing, you are triggering all of these things in the people around you. Right. And all of a sudden, you see how interesting. We started from a place where, oh, I'm changing, I don't have support from my loved ones. And we slowly shift into a place where actually we are in the opposite places. Mm-hmm. You at least know that you're changing and what you want and where you're going. They have no idea what's in store.
Then it's now brings a responsibility on me.
Yeah.
For me to support them.
Wow.
Seeing something different.
Yeah. How mind-blowing that is, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's bittersweet, because it's like, but how about my needs? How about my needs? But then when you understand that, it pushes you to rise so much higher, you stop being in this little world of me, what is it that I need from the ego hook.
Yeah.
Kind of propels you into a place where you are then responsible for your change, but you're also curating. Even if they are not wanting to change, they will, because you are changing. So now, unwillingly, you become the curator, the facilitator, the guide, the role model, the example for their own change.
Wow, interesting. You mentioned something about fear.
Yeah.
And I often hear this a lot, and a lot of people. So fear originally might be something positive. It will stop us from killing ourselves, right? If you look at it that way,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
But if we have a lot of fear,
Mhm.
a lot more than it's required, then it starts stopping us from doing what we actually want to do.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of examples where fear actually stopped people because they have heard their family saying something.
Mhm.
So they stopped their passion, they stopped and they went to their normal life.
Yeah.
And actually, it's like it was you're putting the hook this side, that's the ego. There's the other hook, which is this side, which is the fear. Now,
Yeah.
it's the family fear.
Mhm.
What we mentioned in the beginning, it's the fear of a change, and that change, what it will bring. It might.
Correct.
A lot of saboteurs are there that they
Mhm.
mention a lot of new things that will come to this relationship, right? Now that is another hook that is pulling us down.
Yeah.
If we listen to it sometimes,
Yeah. And
right?
it's very hard.
It is, yes, it's very hard.
You mentioned, Masood, an amazing point, because what will stop most people, and that's where you mentioned, is it cultural? This type of impediment will especially stop people where culturally families are very close together. So it's a huge blessing. I mean, having a support is having a family close together. It's the biggest blessing, but it can be the biggest limitation, right? It's not a never is, but just the biggest limitation. So then how do we go about it where we find the golden middle? We keep, because the fear is what? The fear is fear of judgment, fear of rejection, right? From the loved ones. If it's the fear of being laughed at, the fear of looking stupid, fear of failure I already mentioned. And is the fear that you yourself are not going to succeed. So it's like layer up and layer up and layer up and layer. And so when you are under this blanket of all these fears, your fears, their fears, fear of judgment, fear of this, it feels like it's paralyzing. It feels like, the feeling is like, this is impossible. It's never going to work. Never. I have all my family members, all the life that I know, all the people that I know are against me. What the hell am I thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's an accumulative fear. It's a fear of, it's my fear on top of everyone's fear that they send it to me. For example, here in this country, or normally in most of the Arab countries, the culture is little different than Western. The family here, when we say family, it's not only my parents and my siblings. Family here is my cousins, these cousins, extended family. So that's the bigger family. And instead of 2-3 voices, I'm hearing 50 people voice, 50 people judging me, 50 people laughing at me. It's
amplified. So
exactly. And I'm trying to, and that maybe this is a very important point. I'm trying to make everyone happy. I'm trying to impress everyone. I don't want any single person to laugh at me, any single person to judge me.
Yeah.
And that will be very difficult if I decided to do something different.
Yeah. And Masood, I bet if you have 50 people in your family, you will need 50 lives, different lives, to make sure that each and every single person from your family member is pleased the way specifically they like, right? So, I mean, not only, okay, we're not only talking that you're not going to do anything with your life, forget it, like that's not even on the menu. What is it? Is like, oh, I need 50 more lives because I want to make sure that my cousin and my third grand uncle is satisfied in the exact way that they perceive the world and how they, oh my God. So it's a lot of pressure and it's real because it's relationships, it's people's feelings, it's your own feelings. So we can't say, oh no, you're empowered. Okay, don't. We cannot. We have to take all of this in consideration. And then the question is, what do we do?
That's $1 million question.
Right? It's like, Leo, okay, I know already my problems. It's like, Queenie, give it to me. What is it that we do? So number one, when it comes to this type of fear, before we all go into solving and all of that, we need to understand what is the price that we're paying? What is the price that you paid? What is the price? What is it that you're putting into the fear meter every day, your coins? How much did you already pay for accepting the fear in general? How much? Did you maybe not get into that relationship that you really wanted, and that might have been your soulmate? Mm-hmm. Did you not make that new abundant source of income that should have been already, enriching your life? Did you not create the impact that you're supposed to? It's in your soul, it's in your heart. That's why you're here. And you have not been acting on that just because you allow the fear to paralyze you. What is it? And I don't want you to say, oh, fear took 20 years of my life. No. That's not good enough. I want the details. What is that fear robbed you from? Because before we're stepping into solving mode, into this problem solutions, we need to understand. Because what's going to happen? Why do people, I'm sure you've seen Masood, people change and come back, change and come back, change, like a yo-yo, bing, and it's exhausting for them, for the coach, for everybody. It's like, oh my God, no. And the reason why they do that back and forth all the time is because you have to cut. When you take a new decision, when you move forward, especially cut in the decision when it comes to family, extended 50 people, that's a huge decision. Before we move into problem solving, we need to understand, what has this been costing me? What price I paid so far? And how much do I never want to go back to that? I don't want to go to the grocery store and pay twice for the same thing. 10 times, 5 times. Do you go? Like, become aware, like painfully aware of how much you've missed out in your life because of it. And that would be.
That's interesting. I feel like you're creating a reason. You're creating a pool where this is what I have paid, right? And I don't want to pay more than this anymore, right? And when I understand how deep is that fear in me and how much it's affecting me, and it will affect me in future, this is where nothing can stop me after that, right? I love where you're coming from. It's an amazing way to put it.
Thank you. Because 50 people pleasing 50 people, it's a lot. To counterbalance that need, we need an equally powerful tool, emotionally. Because what we're doing, we're emotionally connecting to all the loss that we've already had. And it's a painful, it's not my ideal exercise because I prefer something that inspires people, but I think it's really important to get in touch with our pain. And to get to a point where we say, no more. I don't care if there are 100, 150, 1,000 people in my family. I can no longer accept this in my life ever again. We need to get to that place where things break, literally break. A piece of you dies and a new part of you gets reborn, because there is no way back because that part of you is dead. You're no longer going to pay the price for keeping the fear. So it's almost like, we need to get to the ground zero, because when you're in fear, you are at -10, -20. And with this exercise, we're kind of bringing ourselves to zero. And then we're going to look into, okay, how can I deal now with my loved ones? How can I walk with them, not against them? But how can I honor myself and them and following my journey? Yeah. Why it's so powerful? Because at the same time, you acknowledge all of that. You're like, what? I have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
I've lost so much. What is it that else? Like and it's like I don't want to lose one more second. I don't want to lose one more opportunity. Enough. And understanding also that helps you realize that you are paying the price. That maybe the 50 family members have no idea.
Exactly. Yes.
They have no idea. They cannot have the passion for it. They cannot understand, because you yourself are paying this price from your emotional wallet, right? You're paying this every single day, every single day, every single day. So that's why we need something to counterbalance, right? With that powerful feeling. And now I sense you're like, oh my God, no, I am ready. I'm breaking, I'm cutting, I'm chopping away, I'm burning the bridges, I'm ready to go. But at the same time, it's like, right, but how can I onboard them still, right? There is that still the desire, because, in order for you to successfully achieve what you're starting, what we need is fully your mental energy. There's a night light by the bed. I have a night light. It's very diffuse, very dispersed. All I can do is only maybe read a book. It's not very clear. But when I turn on light, and what happens is I'm narrowing. And now it's a tiny, tiny beam of light. What happens? I can cut through a diamond with that, right? That's what happens. Laser cuts diamonds. Yeah. So in order to achieve, to massively upscale, to grow exponentially, we need all your emotional attention to do what? To become this tiny and cut through diamonds. But we can't do that when we have internal conflicts. Like, what is it my aunt going to say? I love her still. What is it that my father is going to say? He's such an important figure for me. Those are real problems. Those are real people that we still want them in our life. But I'm not paying the price anymore. I'm like, okay, I'm clear. I'm going. What do we do then? Right? So what we do then, my method is doing something called radical responsibility. Mm-hmm. So then I said, you know what? I will do everything what's in my power to leave the door open to them. Yeah. I will explain what I do without any kind of attachment of them understanding, accepting, approving, anything. So what I'm going to tell them what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain them, express them exhaustively where I'm going, what's going to happen for me, what's going to happen for them. I leave the door open, but I do not expect anything at this point in return. So it's almost like there's a door behind me. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going, because you're going now. Like, no, I'm not paying the price. I'm going. That's where I'm going. And you open the door and you step through the door and you turn. It's like, here's my hand. I love you. I'll always be here for you. And detach yourself from that approval. From need to be approved, need to be right now. Because we have to understand there is instant gratification and there's delayed results. Yeah. So when you say, okay, my need for them to approve of me right now is just my own instant gratification need. And when we detach ourselves, whatever comes, it might be painful, it might be hurtful, but you understand that, well, this is not about me. This is about how they will process my own change. I know where I'm going. I'm going right there. That's like, I'm already through the door, but I make sure that the door is always open. My hand is always extended. And I'm always thinking, how can I help them process my change? So from the position of, well, what are they going to say? How are they going to judge me? Of course they will. You're changing. They're not going to say, oh, yeah, no. No way. That's not going to happen. Like, I guarantee you that. Yeah. Right? That is my job to make sure that my door is open always and my hand is always extended. And I continuously communicate. And whoever comes around will come around in their own time.
Wow. I like when you said detach yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Detach yourself not from the people, from your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you that detaching yourself from the results that you're expecting from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very important that people understand that, okay, we're not cutting these people off. These are my family. I love them. And I appreciate that they're there in my life in all other aspects. But when it comes to this, it's just that I don't want them to stop me. I don't want them to slow me down. So I'm detaching my expectation and I'm detaching my result, kind of, that whatever I wanted from them.
Exactly.
Right?
And more so, I assume the responsibility to continuously make sure that I nurture from my side, because it's 50-50, a relationship, it's 100, right? From my side, I'll continue, even if there's negativity, even if there's criticism, even if it's their first time, they've never done this with me before, they've never changed. It's on me to continuously come and extend the hand and extend the hand and extend the hand. That's your job. That's on you. That's your responsibility. Why? Because you were given the gift of the vision of change. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Okay.
Right, Masood. What is it? How do you think? What would change? Let's go back to that scenario when you're about to change and you have 50 people in your family who would judge, who would disagree with what you're doing, who would not see you succeed, who don't see your vision. What would change?
Okay, I remembered an example that I got, and this is something that I received a lot throughout my experience. A lot of people around us are negative, so their effect is very negative. So I think the change here is me not trying to prove anything to them, me not trying to seek their approval, because that is very exhausting. And as you said, I will need a 50 life to just get their approvals, because everyone has their own experiences, they have their own perspectives, they have their own way of thinking. So I'm not responsible about how they're thinking or if they approve what I'm doing or not. That is the first change. Number two is I will stop expecting anything when it comes to what I'm doing. So yes, I seek approval, I seek support. I have to ask for that specific support that I want. Simple as that.
Right.
If I require, for example, I'm doing a campaign on Instagram, all right? I can specifically ask them, hey, this is the post, this is what I'm doing, please repost this. As simple as this, and not expect that they will do it. If they did it, perfect. If they didn't do it, thank you so much. They're busy, they have their own life. Not judging them if they did or not. Exactly. I think that is a very important point, because as you said, we need support. Support in what? They cannot read our mind, right? I have to tell them, hey, I need your support 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And that's it. And don't get attached with the results. They do it or they don't do it. That is very important.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to start with if I'm driving a change in that relationship.
I love that. There's so much when you say that not to be attached into whether they do it or not. I mean, there is so much depth in that particular sentence, because then you allow them to be themselves in that space, in that relationship that you have with them, without judgment, and with allow them to have a choice, to feel like they have a choice, and they're not judged and they're accepted. I absolutely love that.
Yes, and I think like this, I'm empowering people. It's good. And people normally they don't like other people to tell them what to do, right? They don't feel like feel that I'm forced to do something. It's very heavy. Even from close friends, don't force me to do anything. They always like to feel that they have the choice.
Yeah.
And that's very very interesting, because they love feeling that they have the choice, but they're not aware about this all the time.
And to that, I'll add, and they love we as people, all of us, we love considering ourselves that we're good people. We love helping.
Yeah.
We're wired for help. But then when I don't know exactly what kind of help, but then when you tell me, listen, I need your support with something. And people are very specific. You can even use the same words as I'm using right now. Like, please note it down and use it and see what magic happens. Say, I need your support with something. And then you specifically listen. So you specifically say what you need support with. You will be amazed and blown away by how much support you'll get, because we inherently will like to believe about ourselves as being nice, kind, and helpful.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And when you're appealing, you're asking me for help, you're appealing to the side of me, to the side of me that is wired for helping others and for giving.
I had another idea popped up in my mind. There's a difference when you seek support or you seek help from a place of empowerment, when you seek support from a place of desperation. And I think people can sense it.
Yeah.
Right? If you desperately going to people to do something for you, most probably the answer will be no, or people will simply ignore you, because desperation energy is normally negative.
Right.
It's a negative energy. So I'm sending a negative signals to people, and I'm expecting positive to come back.
Yeah.
So the place that I'm in when I'm seeking support is very important.
I love that.
You know that.
I absolutely love that. The distinction is, because when we seek from desperation, we're being needy.
Yes.
And any relationship, if you are becoming needy, it just becomes very, very heavy. Yeah.
That's interesting. Why do you think that happens? What comes with neediness?
Because neediness comes from a place where I don't approve of me. I need you to become the token of approval. So then when you approve of me, then I allow myself to approve of myself. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
Yes. So I'm giving my control away. I'm giving my power away.
I'm making it your responsibility now. Right?
So I'm not taking responsibility. I just don't want to feel that I'm taking responsibility. So if something happened tomorrow, you told me.
Exactly. You told me, or you didn't approve of me. So it kind of allows you legal victimhood to be in this, you know what I mean? Oh no, because they didn't approve of me. Oh, it's not them. Right? It's a fantastic excuse to hide behind, although it seems so righteous. So it's it's definitely fake. It's a phony. It's you being in your own excuse, and has no place, in my opinion, has no place anywhere.
Mm. You know, in when I feel there is neediness in the energy of the other person, a nice tool is always build a character, because that will help them to, because if you put a big challenge in front of them and you just face them that, hey, you're doing this, you're being needy. No, I'm not needy. You know, immediately jumps up. But the way I love to do it is I build a character, a third party, right? And then we put the characteristics into that. So what do you think this character should be? So we build the being of that character, you know, and we build an energy around it.
I love that.
And then we use that character wherever it's needed until slowly and gradually that character is me or that person. Makes it easier than just boom. You know, some people, they don't like to face things. Yeah.
I love that. I love that because that also then allows the needy person the space to realize how to let go of that neediness.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I'm very curious, Masood. That is such a fantastic tool. How did you come around to use these tools?
Well, I took it from honestly, I took it from my coach.
Nice.
I had a fantastic coach. I think maybe you came across him. His name is Kevin.
Yes, he's amazing.
Yeah, Kevin is amazing. So what he did with me when he was coaching me, he asked me to build a CV. Build a CV for a saboteur.
I love it.
It was painful process, but it was very eye-opening. And then he said, okay, fine. Now you know the characteristics of your saboteur. Now you need to build another CV for a character that will show up every time you have that saboteur. Let them fight. And then slowly and gradually, I like the idea. I'm a visual person, so I like visualizing everything. I love the idea, and I started using it in creative ways with my clients. And now, especially the visual clients that I have, they love the idea and they connect with it immediately, and it makes it easier. Sometimes on a text, they text me, sometimes panicking out. Oh, I have a presentation, I don't know what to do. Simply, I write one word, the name of that character. The energy shifts immediately, and you can see that they have then the characteristics that they need.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Even the body language changes. You will see whenever I mention the name, they go like, oh, okay.
They immediately embody that.
Yes. I believe in energy. I'm an energy healer. I'm a Reiki energy healer. So I believe in energy, and you can actually see it on people's body. When a person comes to me like this and he talks like this, I can figure out without him telling me what kind of energy is around him. And when I see a change in the energy, I can figure it out immediately. So, and it works like magic. The only thing is you need a constant reminder of that energy. So you keep embodying that energy, because your subconscious mind will always take you back to what it's programmed. So until we program it we reprogram it on the new energy, the new habit that we are taking, the new beliefs that we just entered. We need to fake it until we make it, right?
All the way to success. Yes.
Yeah, in a good way. So you fake your subconscious mind because it's programmed to be in a certain way. Now, to change that programming, I have to do things constantly. So I reprogram it. And to do that constantly, it's not programmed yet, but I have to be aware, and I have to keep doing it, and then until it's actually a fact. It's something that's built in.
That is so beautiful. And that's what empowerment is. Understanding that you can reprogram your subconscious and you can create yourself grow yourself into the person that you want to be.
Exactly. Yes. Sometimes people come to me and they said, okay, we have changed the belief. I said, yes, amazing. You can change the belief. Now you have a new awareness. But that new awareness will stay there for 24 hours, 48 hours maximum. If you left it there, it will stay there, and you start burning it with dust and everything. Unless you start taking actions every single day, that awareness means nothing. Yeah. It will be like, ta-da, and then disappear. And then after 1 year, you will go another, ta-da, and then disappears again, you know? Yeah. So action is the key.
Consistency.
Consistent action.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a beautiful way to sum that up, because at the end of the day, back to expectations and back to, expecting from others, expecting from the universe, expecting from this inspiration, without accepting that it takes that work. It takes routine and those reps to put in to create and to build the person who you want to be, and to create and build the life you want to have.
Yes. And I think once people reach to that realization that I have control over my life, so it's better me taking that control. Otherwise, I'm giving that control to other people who controls my life or run my life. So it's end of the day, it's a choice. That's also a choice.
Right.
I remember telling to one of my clients the other week, is not taking a decision is a decision.
Absolutely.
If you know something and you decide to do nothing about it, you took a decision to do nothing.
Exactly. It's eye-opening.
Yeah.
I remember that was very eye-opening for myself when I heard that phrase for the first time. I was like, ooh, because it brings that, not weight, but it brings the awareness of you are responsible.
Yes.
Not them. Don't point the finger, point the thumb.
Yeah.
Anytime you see yourself doing that, there is 100% chance that you should be doing this, actually.
Exactly. Awesome, Coach Leo. This was amazing conversation. I'm so grateful that you are here.
I'm so grateful. And what you are creating with this Wisdom Wednesdays is a space for people to just come in. And over time, they maybe be vocal and have confidence to step up and ask a question. But you're creating a safe space for transformation, for questioning, and thank you so much. It's an honor, it's a blessing, and it's a blessing for really everybody who will be on this Wednesdays further on.